This video is all about controlling the low point. And a lot of us have too many low points in golf. We're going to help you with that. All right, Sean, Ron Bauer asked a great question. He's wanting to know, he thinks low point, and he's exactly right. Low point distinguishes good players from bad players.
Yeah.
How you can control that. He wants to know what are some ways he can improve his low point control.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
I think in layman terms, he's just talking about where the club bottoms out,
Yeah.
ideally in front of the ball.
Absolutely. Obviously, the better the player, I guess the more consistently they can do that. But,
Right.
you know, it's not totally true because I know a lot of over-the-top steep slicers, they can hit the ground in front of the ball every single time.
Absolutely.
So it might not be the only differentiator, but it's one of the important ones, especially if the club is on a decent swing
Sure.
plane. But to control the low point, I would say there's a couple different ways or aspects that need to be in place in order to do that. One of them is where the trunk is or the upper body is in relation to the ball on the downswing. So if Mike puts his finger right here on my lead shoulder and just leaves it there as I turn away, so I'm going to make a backswing, my shoulder's going to go down and forward, and on the downswing, if I were to stay back and start turning, that may make it a little difficult, depending on the golfer, to control low point. Now, I've seen some guys, and Mike has too, at a high level, kind of do that, but most of the
Very difficult to do.
Yeah, amateur golfers are probably going to be back here hitting the ground
absolutely.
fat. So that's the first one. Do you want to speak to like the pressure in the feet and the weight shift?
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. So if you were that guy that Sean just demonstrated, where this center of the chest really kind of falls backwards without getting in front of where we started, by the finger representation, that's going to keep a ton of pressure, a ton of weight on this back foot. So the converse of that, so to how we like to control low point is to think buttons on the shirt. So I'm going to get this ahead of where I started early in the downswing. That's going to get a lot of pressure forward. That's going to get a lot of mass forward. It's going to get both the center of the hips, the belt buckle we'll say, and the buttons forward of where they started. Then as I'm extending, I get a little bit of retreat with my upper body, but it's still forward of where I started. That's really going to move the low point in front of the golf ball.
Absolutely.
Provided it wasn't a crazy amount of ball position. So it's where you start, moving these things in front of that, and then kind of finishing where they're just slightly in front of it with the upper body. It's not, I'm not going to slide, so I'm just going to tilt back behind where I started. That's a key thing that we see with a lot of golfers.
Absolutely, and I'll add one more in. Obviously the wrist mechanics down in the release phase here have a lot to do with it. And I think if you're guilty of like an early cast, that may be because of a poor grip, it may be because of a really open club face and an attempt to square the club to the ball early. And your mechanism to do that is this kind of scoop at the bottom. You're gonna have a tendency to bottom out early.
But we don't see a lot of casters that get this out in front.
Yeah. Especially if they have a good grip, they can get good body motion here, chest over the ball. If they have a good grip, they're gonna have a better chance of contacting the ground in the right place. So if you have that pattern on video where you have like this cast and open, trying to square it with a scoop at the bottom, take a look at your left-hand grip, make sure it's in the fingers, make sure you have solid wrist mechanics in the top. We've got more videos about that, but that'll give you the best chance not to kind of cast and scoop, and that'll help you hit the ground in the right place.
That's exactly right. Low point control. Hopefully you'll have fewer low points out there on the course.